Vande Gujarat.
Very good morning again, everyone. For all those who have joined us yesterday, I hope there was some value addition in your time and your life. What we did yesterday, we'll have a quick recap of all what we talked about. First of all, the most important, why. A strong why gives an amazing foundation for all your learnings, not just in public speaking, but every aspect of your life. Even in your profession, relationship, if your why is strong, you go strong in your life. An amazing why would also give you a strong foundation, a base to carry on, have consistency or persistence in whatever you are trying to do. Any goal which you want to achieve in your life or any learnings which you want to pursue. Right now in public speaking, most of the times it might happen that when you go to stage, you might feel blank. You might feel little weird, might feel embarrassed on the stares of the audience. At that time, a strong why would give you a foothold strong enough to stay in the field. Talk to people without any embarrassment, without any reluctance. That is the beauty of a strong why. We also talk about what is public speaking. Anything and everything which comes in communication with more than one person is public speaking. Even if you are talking to a group of friends, be it 4, 5, 6 or even less, it is called public speaking. Only what you need to do is have your acts right. What we studied yesterday was also what are the types of public speaking. So to name a few, we had motivational speeches, which we give the examples of some great leaders or people who've been there, done that, and been a great example of motivating someone. So that is kind of motivational speeches. Inspirational speeches are those which in a way are your own stories, which might inspire people and gives you an amazing insight of how they can also incorporate those learnings, those teachings, those amazing achievements which one had as in their life to be the one and to motivate someone else from your inspirational story. We also talked about numerous other type of speeches such as storytelling. Storytelling is an amazing art form wherein you convey your message through a story. It is always said that stories connect like nothing else can. And likewise, stories, humor is another thing which connects audience, which gets you on the same page with the audience. It creates relevancy. So, inspirational, motivational, storytelling, humorous, informative. The kind of speeches we often hear on the news channels are kind of informative. When you give information with facts, figures, lot of data, those are called informative speeches. And there are many more kinds of speeches. All what you need to do is we should know what kind of speech we are giving. Because if when we are giving an information speech, it cannot be persuasive. We're just telling them, giving them information. We don't want at that particular time to take some action. When we are giving them a motivational story, we need not add humor more than a single line out there, so that the crux or the aura of that speech doesn't get fizzled out. For example, while talking about some amazing achievements of some great athlete, I need not add a joke out there. Maybe to make the situation light, I can add a line which could be humorous but should not fizzle out the essence of the story. We also yesterday talked about many more things. For example, the best thing which I like is always try to express your ideas, never try to impress the audience. While learning public speaking or while practicing public speaking, whenever you are on stage, whenever you're doing the speech, which is very important in your life, always try to feel that you're not doing it to impress anyone. You want to express your ideas. You might be doing it for the audience, but for their betterment, not to impress them by your style, by your vocabulary, by your charisma. The whole idea is you want audience to have some value addition in their life, and that is why we talk about expressing your ideas, not impressing. We also talked about what are the other benefits of public speaking. Public speaking is not just coming out in public and talking. It is about leadership as well. A good public speaker has ample opportunities in their life, not just in personal but also professional front. It is not only politics where you go out there and speak in public and ask for votes maybe, but anything, even in your organization, if you want to pitch up an idea, in your business organization where you want to get up in the hierarchy, you need to do the public speaking. So public speaking is not only about communication skills, it's also about leadership skills. Other aspects of public speaking is listening. Listening is very integral part of speaking. And how is that so? We always see that when we are talking, we are just sharing what we know. But when we are listening, we are gathering information. And this information could also be possible in public speaking. For example, if I'm talking in front of 300, 400 people, I need to gauge what is the response coming from the audience. They might not always talk to make me listen. Their expressions, their energy, their posture, their gestures, everything talks. For example, I'm giving a long speech and someone in the front is yawning. I need to understand that this is the time I need to get their attention back. This is the time I need to make some engagement, some interaction with the audience. So that is also kind of listening. Public speaking also help us be compassionate, because when we see someone speaking in public, probably fumbling or stumbling or not able to deliver the speech right, we understand that, okay, I've been in that place. So I develop compassion as well with public speaking. Public speaking also has, in my particular case, given me immense opportunity, immense learnings, because when we go out there, speak in public, we also get feedback from people. Feedback is very, very important. It is said that feedback is the breakfast of champions. Always try to be open to feedbacks. In public speaking, the most amazing part is the positivity. Among our circle of public speakers, we have seen that everybody is trying to push each other forward. Unless the way we generally do it, or we see it in the corporate structure where everyone is trying to pull each other's legs. The idea is try to have positive set of people around you. In public speaking, we have met such people, and during our course of interaction with the audience, we find that audience want you to succeed. For all those who believe public speaking is tough and what will people think about us and how I may look, am I making a fool out of myself, understand this one point again. When I'm talking to you for half an hour, it is only investment of half hour from my side. But audience, if it's the story or the audience size or the whoever is listening to you, it can be on YouTube, it can be on TV, UGC, but on Facebook, the audience size, if 1,000, they are giving you collectively 30,000 hours, 30,000 minutes. So more than what you want to succeed is the audience that wants you to succeed. And with this mindset, it will be very easy for you to go out there and perform, because now you know out there people want you to win. We also talked about what is the most important aspect of learning public speaking. As I mentioned, it is practice, practice, practice. No matter if you forget anything and everything of what I had said yesterday and next 3 days to come, if you take up this mantra that practice is most important. With practice, you just do not go towards perfection, but every time you practice, you are becoming a better version of yourself. And if when I say practice, 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 and everything else can be forgotten, one important part which also mentioned was having a guru, a coach, a mentor, a friend, philosopher, guide, anyone who can help you in the journey of learning and growing together. So while you practice, it is also essential you practice in the right direction. We gave few examples yesterday wherein we talked about how could you form a sentence. If you form a sentence right from starting or creating an alphabet or inventing a word, it would be too tough. Take learnings of those who have been there and done that. There are people who have written books on public speaking. There are people on and off who will be talking about public speaking. Take their cues, learn from them, have a good mentor in your life. Another learning was leaders are learners for life. Never stop learning. Not just because you will age when you stop learning, but because learning gives you wings. Every time you learn something, you are a much better version of yourself. And this is all what we strive to be, a better version of ourselves. Public speaking also gives us immense opportunity to develop public and personality developments. By public skills, I mean when you go out there, interact with people. You make friends, you make acquaintances, you make connects, you make contacts, and that is your network. We very well know that your network is your net worth. It's not the amount of money you have as bank balance in your banks. It's not the materialistic luxuries you have, your cars, your house, but the type of people whom you are connected with. So with public speaking, we have all this in place. A network can very well be easily established by using your public speaking skills and communication skills. So that was the brief recap of what we did yesterday. Now, I had on some social media handles, the social media handles which I have shared yesterday, I got some questions and we'll try to answer those questions first and then move on to today's topic. First question which I had on, and I'm discussing only the questions which are very frequently asked. There were some questions which I answered one-to-one. Then there are questions which were asked multiple times and I want to share it with every one of you on this platform. First question was, what if we go blank on the stage? It happens with everyone. It has happened with me multiple times. If we go blank on stage, remember one thing, audience wants you to win. Secondly, you should have enough content. If the only reason you'll go blank is either you haven't prepared well or your lack of content. In either cases, what develops out there is nervousness. So with enough preparation, you can overcome your nervousness. With enough reading, having enough content, you will never be short of content. For example, if I'm prepared here for a 1-hour lecture and I forget some part of my lectures and I'm having in back of my mind a lecture of 3 to 4 hours, I will never be short of words, never be short of ideas, never be short of thoughts. And that is all about. Get enough knowledge, create content, then practice a lot. With practice, you can overcome nervousness like nothing else. Nervousness or feeling embarrassed or feeling weird on the stage or feeling not so in control, all this can be controlled just by well preparedness. Preparedness not only in terms of writing your speech. Always remember, write your speech, rewrite your speech and write multiple times unless you feel, okay, this is the perfect speech. Then give multiple chance of rehearsals. Only then you can really feel prepared and in control of yourself. Once you are comfortable with your speech, your content, you will definitely rock the stage. Nervousness can be overcome by preparedness. So the question, if anyone goes blank, always try to be well prepared, well in advance and have enough content. Always believe that audience wants you to win. Another question which often comes to me, not just for yesterday's program, was, I'm good talking in Hindi or Gujarati, but I'm not comfortable talking in English. Only question I want to ask them is, are you comfortable talking in English when you talk one-to-one? If you're comfortable then and not comfortable on stage, this means that problem is not English, or for that say any language. Trust me on this. If you can easily convey or converse with one another, then English is not your problem. The problem is nervousness, lack of practice. Every time we feel that if I am able to talk in Hindi in front of stage or in front of audience, why it makes me nervous in English? Because practice is not enough. It is always recommended to know your problem, like any doctor would do. A diagnosis is much more important than the prescription which you get. It might be contradicting for doctors if someone is listening in the audience, but understand this, diagnosis is most important part. You need to know what is the problem. When I say English is the problem, it's a generalized statement. Understand, analyze, and then fathom out, is really English the problem or nervousness is the problem? Lack of preparedness is the problem. So once you diagnose the problem, and let's say if English is genuinely a problem, what are the tips and tricks you can use it? Easiest one is try to read as many books in English as possible. Try to read magazines, newspapers. Try to watch English movies. Try to converse with as many people in English. Try to have that group of people who want to learn and grow together. And only then you can have a fantastic command over the language. Pronunciation. While studying or while reading or while reading articles in newspapers, you might be good at vocabulary, but pronunciation might still be a problem. That could be solved by watching movies or talking to people who are like-minded and they want to help you. So pronunciation can be solved. Another question which came to me on the social media handle was, many a times we are not able to formulate the words or the next sentence which I want to say. And what in turn comes out is, what did I wanted to say, what I actually want to say, or words like this. And many a times it happens that the thoughts overlap. So these are two different things, but the reason is same. The speed at which you think and the speed at which you talk does not sync. If the speed of thought is more than the speed of saying, the words will overlap. If the speed of thought is less than the speed at which you speak, you will have this clutch words. You know, I know, I wanted to say. Easiest way, which has worked for me, worked for many of those who I have known and suggested, read out books loud. When you read out books loud, the rate at which you think, the rate at which you speak, and the rate at which you listen all matches. And before you know it, you will be out of this problem. So reading out book loud helps you come out of clutch words and come out of your overlapping of thoughts or words. Many times I also get this question that do not get the proper words. Vocabulary might be an issue. How do you improvise your vocabulary? Very simple. Read books, read newspapers, read magazines, read much movies as possible. And beyond that, what you need to do is at least 4 to 5 words a day. You need to write and try to use it in your conversation, in your WhatsApp messages, anywhere. Start writing. That is how you develop your vocabulary. 4 words, 5 words would not make you an amazing speaker, but always remember the Warren Buffett, or I would rather say Einstein's famous theory that compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. 4 words daily gives you more than 1500 words at the end of year, and that is quite something. Small steps, baby steps maybe, but small step and consistent effort toward growing will get you out of this problem of vocabulary. So these were the common questions which I had in yesterday's videos. If you have any questions, I would again like to share the credentials which I had. Khushal Lalwani, I would also like to put up on the YouTube page and the Facebook page. You can DM me on Instagram and Facebook if you have any such queries. Now we'll start with the topic of the day. Topic of the day is, how do you introduce yourself effectively? And in this, we'll not only talk about introducing yourself effectively, but introducing someone else also effectively. Because the way you introduce someone the way you give them your energy reflects in their speeches, reflects in their performance, reflects in their overall personality. And that is why it is considered to be a very, very beautiful attribute when you can introduce someone effectively. I'll give you a small example here. Remember, in Delhi University, Barack Obama has visited while he was the President of United States of America. And there was a girl from Delhi University who introduced him beautifully. Out of 90 minutes of Barack Obama's speech, it was almost 10 to 15 minutes where he has mentioned the way he was introduced. And that is the beauty of introducing someone. We'll start with introducing ourselves first, and then how you can introduce someone else better. Self-introduction can happen in various phases, in various occasions, and various premises. The easiest way and the most common way I'll tell you is someone introducing themselves in a club meeting, or when you go to a new organization, new institution, many times at interviews. Elevator speech is my favorite speech, because you get very less time to introduce yourself to someone who might be of real importance in your life. Might not be right then, but some later point of time. Could be CEO of some big company who could offer you job. Could be a big investment banker who could get you funds. Could be person of your dreams whom you might marry in the future. These are the kind of occasions you will be thankful if you had an amazing introduction always ready with you. What is the duration of the introduction? What is the type of introduction? It all depends on the premise, the setup, where you want to introduce yourself. For example, the elevator speech cannot be more than a minute. In a club or on an institution where you are going to join, you can have good 3 to 4 minutes to introduce yourself. In a interview, you might have 4 to 5 minutes, but then again you introduce yourself in a different way. We'll talk about all of this one by one. For example, if you've joined some club, it could be Rotary, Rotaract, Toastmaster, JCI, Leo, Lions, and you go out there and introduce yourself. First, the introduction has to be formal. It has to be complete. You just cannot, or you should not rather say, I'm Khushal Lalwani, I'm into the business of data communication and networking. My passion is public speaking. Thank you so much. This is less than 10 seconds. If you want people to remember you, your introduction has to be good enough, long enough, and something like 20th September 1980, born in the blue city, Jodhpur. I, Khushal Lalwani, am pleased to be part of this fantastic organization. This way, you not only are introducing yourself right from the beginning, right from when you were born, but also you are taking the attention of the audience and they want to listen more. Always remember, when you introduce yourself, then also you need to think about the audience. Might be tricky, but comes with practice, practice, practice. Again, go in a flow. Never try to, let's say, okay, I'm right now into engineering, I have my own company. Oh, I remember I was in class 10th, I did very good. And oh, okay, I'm also get married when I was 27. But right now I'm thinking about public speaking. I remember incident of my childhood. No one remember. In fact, probably you might also not remember. Have a flow when you introduce yourself. In later chapters, we'll be talking about organization of the speech, which is opening, body, conclusion. But in this speech also, you need to have some flow. Like I said, I was born in the blue city, Jodhpur. Then I did my schooling from St. Paul's, and I was a good student. I was very good at music, arts at that time. Then I did my entrance exam and joined engineering in Karnataka. So you go in a flow. During engineering, I did all this. I became a big fan of how startups were happening in the internet industry. And then later, I started my company based on those interests. I got married when I was 27. I've got 2 lovely kids, and right now I'm a big fanatic fan of public speaking. The way it has changed my life, I want it to change everyone else's life as well. And that is why I am standing in front of you talking about public speaking. In a public setup, when you are in some club, you might also join that these beautiful set of vibrant people out here fascinates me. I've known some of them and they are really so energetic and so enthusiastic. I really wanted to be part of this vibrant group, and that is why today I thank you all to make me a part of this fraternity called XYZ. People like to hear their names as many times as possible. Try to take names when you are introducing even yourself. So, Mr. Suresh, I want you to know that I had also been a big fan of Manchester United. Ramesh, I also wanted you to know that I have a kid in my house who is big fan of Avengers. So, people feel related to you. Points to be taken. Introduce yourself in a systematic manner. Go in a hierarchy so you also remember how it goes. Opening, body, conclusion, and likewise it should flow like a story. And stories begin from start, not from the end or middle, or does not juggle between start, middle and end. Always remember to have a flow in the story. Try to have smooth transitions, and most importantly, make sure people wants to listen to your story. So that was the basic format of how you introduce yourself in a club setup, where you have got 3 to 4 minutes. Then there is an interview setup. In interviews, when the first question, mostly it happens that the interviewer asks, okay, tell us something about yourself. That time you need not give all the story of your childhood, your schooling, everything. But in a very small gist, sir, born and brought up in 𝐒𝐿𝐴, Rajasthan. I have completed my engineering from this place. I've been a very good academic student. I look forward to these many things in life. What fascinates me the most is an organization like yours who's working in cut-off technology, cutting edge technology, and that is what excites me more. Again, you are introducing yourself, but you are also naming the person, the organization to whom you are talking. It might be tough for you to assimilate and digest this fact in the beginning, but with practice, you'll get to know this is a good way of introducing yourself. When you introduce yourself, keeping others in mind, they feel, okay, he's not blabbering all about himself. He's also concerned about the listener. And so, while introducing yourself, try to have a crisp introduction. Introduction should be elaborated only where it concerns the interviewer. And introduction might also include the interviewer or the interviewer's organization, because that then they feel more relevant, they feel more connected, they feel on the same page, and it makes you feel authentic. Okay, this is the company where I wanted to join, but I have a strong reason to join this, and it's not only because of salary, because I love the core values of your organization. I also have the same core values, and you need not lie out there. Only if you have genuine, authentic core values, and not exactly core values, but there could be many things which might have impressed you to join that particular organization. Be authentic, be genuine, and everything else will be taken care of. Trust me on this. So we talked about a club setup where you can be informal, interview where you have to be formal, connected. You need to have knowledge about other person as well and how you are relevant to their organization. The most commonly used is the elevator speech. This is the speech where you have less than a minute and still you cannot straight away jump on to your introduction. You need to create a setup, and you can do it in as many ways as possible, and it would be spontaneous. You could joke about something what happened just outside the lift. You could talk about weather. You could compliment them on their dressing, and at the same time you should be aware, is it taken in positive sense? For example, if you're commenting on someone's dress and he is already feeling awkward about it, probably that would not have been a good idea. So you need to jump on to another talk, because anyways you have less time. As soon as you get that smile, you get that applaud, you get that acknowledgement, or you get that simple nod from them, you can start introducing yourself. That too, keeping in mind the other person. I was looking forward to meet you. I am Khushal Lalwani, working in this field and very impressed by your work. I know you. Be genuine. You don't have to, just hide the fact that I know you are the CEO of the company. Tell them, because if eventually it comes in your tone, your voice, or your words as such, that would not create a good impression. Also, because you have limited time, you need not, or you cannot, give the whole information. For example, the way I introduce my company is, our company is Excel Information Systems Limited, and we are basically into data communication networking. We feel everything is connected, and we help people connect where connectivity otherwise seems impossible. And that is what our cutting edge technology helps people connect. Then the person gets interested and want to know more about the company. Probably that is the time when you can share cards. So 3 types of self-introduction we talked. First was in a club setup, which is very informal, interview, which has to be formal, and elevator speech, which has to be very quick and interactive. There are many more types of self-introduction. For example, the kind of introduction where we give when we go out for arranged marriage, or the kind we do introduce ourselves in the parent-teacher meeting of our kids, or any similar setups. But broadly, it can be described into formal, informal, and quick. I hope that helped you in self-introduction. But even if you have more queries, more questions, like yesterday, you can again put it on my DM, Khushal Lalwani, that is 𝐒𝐿𝐻𝐢𝐻𝐿 Lalwani, at both Instagram and Facebook. Other type of introduction, what we said was introducing someone else. I had numerous opportunities to introduce some great speakers and some great orators at various platforms, at times authors as well. To introduce someone else is giving them your energy. So most what you need is the energy. You cannot say, here I would like to introduce Mr. XYZ, who is an amazing author. I'm super excited to introduce to you the world of knowledge. And that to me is Mr. XYZ, who has written this book. Energy has to be there, because this is the energy the author wants, the next speaker wants, and this is the energy what audience wants. Because the amount of energy you transfer to that speaker will reflect in audience as well. So while introducing someone else, always be energetic and enthusiastic. Secondly, you should have enough data, facts and figures about the person whom you're introducing. You need not say, he's written some book which is kind of good, he's done some public work and which I am not sure of, something like that. Probably this is the worst kind of introduction he or she might have ever had. Do enough research, and it is absolutely fine to ask them for their introduction. It's a general trait. You can ask the person whom you want to introduce for their written introduction. As simple as that. So that you don't mess up with data, you don't mess up with facts and figures. So another way of introducing someone else is not just in a setup where you want to introduce them to an audience, but also during marriage or funeral functions. Nowadays at funerals also, we go and talk good about the person who is no more. You need to be very careful about the words you use, the tone you use, the energy you give, and the expressions you have on your face. End of the day, to sum it up all, it has to be authentic. It has to be genuine. If you're genuine, everything else will be taken care of. At funerals, even at marriages you can take the liberty of being a little funny, while introducing the bride or the groom, or raising a toast for that, say, even at birthdays, even at any other celebration, anniversaries, you can be a little sarcastic. If the circle is such, if you are very close, you can be friendly, you can crack a joke if the person is acceptable to all those jokes. Whole idea is, according to occasion, according to setup, according to premise, you need to change the way you introduce someone else. For example, as we talked, in marriages and funerals, it has to be extreme different kind of words you use. In while introducing a speaker to the audience, it has to be lot of data, lots of information about the person whom you are introducing. The third type could be an award ceremony, where you are there to present an award. Here, not just energy, not just good choice of words, but you also need to have an amazing affection for that person, and that will reflect on your, I'm in love of your work. You need not exactly say it, but every time you talk about his work or her work and you show the excitement, that reflects how affectionate you are for that person, and how important it is, and how fortunate it is for you to have the opportunity to introduce that person. Show that in your words, show that in your expressions, in your gestures, and that would be the best introduction ever. I remember whenever someone has introduced me really well, I always remember them. I go to them and thank them endlessly. For you to do the same, always try to be genuine. Always do some research. Be compassionate. Be the person who everyone looks up to when they want to get introduced. So these are the basically three kinds of setups where you introduce someone else. Initially we talked about how you introduce yourself. Now how you introduce someone else. Basically, when someone is going to address, and your introduction has to be very crisp. When you are presenting an award, your introduction can be big enough. In case of marriages and funeral, it depends on the camaraderie. It depends on how your relationship was or is with the person either who's married or was who is no more. So, end of the day, it's three types of introducing someone else. Now, in the setup of being introduced or getting the introduction done, few things are common. We have touched upon that, but let's dive deep into this. One, authentic. When you like someone's work, or when you say, I am excited about this project of mine, you need to be genuinely excited, otherwise people will get to know. During the question answers, or during the lack of words, or some micro gestures will tell them that, okay, he is bluffing. So be authentic, be genuine about whatever you are speaking, because it is always said that when a speaker speaks, the energy, the aura, the enthusiasm is reflected from audience as well. Only if you are genuinely passionate, genuinely excited about something, audience will show it on their faces. At times it is also concern. Let's say if I'm giving a speech, and I give this example a lot, climate change. I say, I'm talking about climate change, I'm really worried about it, I do this about it, and I want every one of you also to do something about this. But if it is not showing genuine concern, there will be some deviation in our thoughts, words, speech, gestures, expressions. So talk about things only which you are genuinely concerned of. Make sure authenticity is the key to one's heart. If you're authentic enough, if you're genuine, if you're really concerned, you'll make connects like no one else can. If this is digested, I'll give you one more thing which might seem contradictory to this. I said to be authentic, I said to be genuine, I said to be genuinely concerned. Now, to establish yourself as a speaker, There's another way of doing it, and for lack of better words, I call it fake it till you make it. And listen to this fully before you think that, okay, I'm contradicting myself. When you want to be a confident speaker, or when you want to prove someone that, okay, I am funny, I can make you laugh, or if you genuinely want to be funny, you have to do it over the time. Before people know it, you have to know it. You have to be convinced that, okay, I can be funny, I can be confident, I can be an amazing speaker. You can try fake it till you make it. But how does it contradict? Authenticity and fake it till you make it. Extreme opposite versions. But to make the story short, you can fake your style, not your content. That will make you non-authentic. I can act confident, I can act smart, I can act funny, but my words should not be fake. I'll give you an example. When I'm talking about someone else, I need to be authentic, I need to be genuine. And when I'm talking about some issue, some problem, I need to be really authentic. But if I'm talking about style, I can fake, I can talk, I can act smart. To assimilate it further, content has to be authentic, style can be fake. And this I'm talking about initial phase of public speaking, where you might not feel so confident coming on the stage. In your head, you give the story that I'm the most confident person in this room. If you're doing a stand-up comedy, I am the funniest person in this room. That would not make you non-authentic. Still, I know deep inside you might be feeling that, okay, I'm faking this confidence, but you're faking this confidence to build up this confidence. And that is the whole story about. So, authentic in your content and thoughts, you can fake your style, your energy, because you want to reach that energy level. I hope there will be many questions on this, and you can put me those questions on Facebook and Instagram so that we can take it forward. And for the lack of time, we would not elaborate it furthermore. So we were talking about self-introduction and introducing someone else, how it could be authentic, and how you can fake at times your style. Then we also briefly talked about weaving it in a story, which means the story should be in a flow. There has to be proper transitions. And the best example which we did was, okay, I did my engineering and I also did my schooling, and today I'm doing this. I got married 10 years back. And no, had to be in a flow. I was born here, and then I was doing my schooling, then I did my engineering, I got married, I started my business. This is what I want to do in the future. Weaving a story would not only be smooth on the ears of your audience, but also it would be very helpful for you to remember the story, the transition, the smoothness would be there. So that is very important. Whenever you introduce yourself or introduce someone else, or even you give a normal speech, try to have an amazing start. By amazing start, you can use a joke, an incident, a motivational quote, or an idiom. Time and tide waits for no one. And that is why I want to talk about my journey of time management. So, immediately connects. When you give that one amazing starter of a line, people get hooked up to you, and then they listen to you genuinely. Always try to have an amazing start. By amazing end, I mean there should be a conclusion. There should be a proper takeaway. Because most of the time, you will be known to them by your conclusive remarks. Which makes me say, timing is everything. and they'll remember you by those words, because the story which you have told, they have listened, but the takeaway has to be short, crisp, and very, very helpful to them. So an amazing start and amazing end is definitely required in all kinds of speeches, but especially when you want to introduce yourself. Because as we also yesterday talked, first 15 seconds is when people decide, I want to listen to this person or not. So amazing start, amazing end. Also, we talked about when we introduce yourself, how much of information can be given. It all depends on kind of time you have. For example, I'll be talking about, I was a good student. Instead of saying, in my 10th class I had 51%, in my 12th class I had 72%, for engineering I had first semester this much percent, second. It might be boring. I was a good student. That is enough. Unless you are giving your interview for a particular job opportunity, wherein you say that, okay, in 8th semester I did my best because this is the subject I love the most and is relevant to your organization. You can go little bit of in depth. Otherwise, try to reduce your content where you might feel, I'm not sure people will like it or not. So be concise where required. Whenever you write a speech, it could be about you, it could be about introducing someone else, and many times we see that while introducing someone else, we read out the introduction given by them. It hardly takes 2 minutes to understand the introduction and deliver it. But the kind of impact the audience has and the speaker has by your efforts of reading, learning, and giving it in your own style by having an eye contact would be immense. So always try to be genuine there also. Put in little efforts. If you have taken up a responsibility, why not give it your 100%? And for that, you might write the speech once, rewrite the speech, redraft again until you have good enough choice of words, good enough incidents, good enough experiences, good enough takeaways for the audience. And then you start practicing that speech. Remember, practice, practice, practice. In my 5-day session, I would want to repeat this at least 500 times, because that is the crux of what we are doing here. Write, rewrite, and relearn. At times you have to unlearn things which you have written. I also believe that writing a speech is as good as meditation. You talk to yourself, especially when you write your own introductory speech. It does reflect on your past as well. Why not make the most out of it? So practice enough after writing the speech and try to put it in different styles as well. I'll give you a simple example that we always say, she is a winner. And it could be said in many ways just by changing the tonality of voice. She is the winner. She is the winner. She is the winner. She is the winner. A sentence of 4 words can be said in 4 different ways just by emphasizing or just giving the tonality or the modulation of voice to every different word. In all these cases, the impact would be different. She is the winner, which means she is the most important part here. It will come only with practice. All what I can say is try doing these things as well. Also, when you are introducing yourself or you're introducing someone else, the easiest way to have a feel how does it look is put yourself in their shoes. For example, if someone is introducing me, would these set of words make me feel comfortable, make me feel energized or enthusiastic, or the other way around? Then you say these words and definitely it will make them feel better, make them feel energized, make them feel much more learned than they were earlier. So putting yourself in others' shoes, in audience's shoes, in the person whom you're going to introduce or the person who is introducing you. Probably he or she might not have given the perfect introduction, but you still need to be thankful, and in person you can help them make a better introduction. for next time. So try different approaches and have compassion. Put yourself in others' shoes. That will also help in getting you a amazing speech or an amazing introduction, or when you want to introduce someone else. So these were the common points of when we talked about how you introduce yourself in different situations, different styles, different manner, and how you can introduce someone else, getting them super excited for the talk and getting the audience super charged up to listen to who you want to speak about or what you want to speak about your own self. So energy has definitely to be there. Energy can be faked in initial conversations. Later point of time, it will become your habit. It will become who you are. But never fake your content. That has to be authentic. That has to be genuine. So that was a quick review of what we did today. I would also like to take a few questions which generally come to me, not when I had that in the yesterday session. And that question is, how much of body language can we use? So we talk about body language is generally those gestures which I show on the screen, or which hand movements I show, or the relaxing posture which I have, or attentive nature which I am expressing right now. Has to be authentic. Again, the word of the day today is authentic. If it is matching your words, your content, your comfort, or your attentiveness, it is okay. How much of it is too much? Remember when we used to say, twinkle, twinkle, little star? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Not every word. Not every word is to be shown by body language. Now this is something huge. This is something huge. Only huge I have exaggerated and shown by my expression. So the most important part of that topic, that speech, that sentence can be given a body language touch. So how much of the body language is too much? When you're trying to do poems, poetries, that is too much. But if you want to genuinely put up the importance, okay, this is very important, this is super important, then you can use your body language. So that is one question I always get. Another question which I have got many times is, we feel what will audience think about us? This is a famous quote, I don't know by whom, but I hear it mostly from Mr. 𝐓𝐢𝐻𝐺𝐸𝐻 that says, सबसे बुरा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग? Forget what people are saying about you. It's about you. If you are authentic, if you are genuine, it will work out for you. If you genuinely want to share something with you, for example, I have gained enough from public speaking and communication skills. If I genuinely want to bring it across to all of you who are listening, I would not care if some of you might say, "Arey yaar, not good. This could have been better." I understand this could have been better. And I'm also learning in the process, open to feedback. Then I should not worry what would people think about me. Log kya kahenge has killed more dreams than the failures which they actually face. Also try to understand this, the point which I've mentioned earlier, that more than yourself, audience has invested in you. Because if you have invested 30 minutes, audience has invested 30 into number of people watching. So they are much more invested. Have this positivity that audience wants you to win. In the back of mind, if you have this, you won't have this nervousness of what will people think about me? Am I making a fool of myself? How do I look? How do I talk? How do I act? You can work on everything of this. In our future chapters, we'll be talking about how do you organize your speech, how do you change the tone of your speech, and you can practice that. Record yourself, hear your words, video record yourself, see yourself, how do you look, as simple as that. But the whole thing is, keep doing, keep rocking, keep shining. In our next session tomorrow, we'll be talking about how are we going to organize our speech, which means how to have an opening, body, conclusion for different types of speeches. Let's say, example, problem and then problem solving speech, or informative speech, or motivational speech, inspirational speech. For all those kinds of speeches, we'll be having a know-how. How do you curate your speeches? So that is what we are going to do tomorrow. And to conclude what we did today, we did how to introduce yourself in different kinds of setup, and that was formal, informal, and quick. Exact precise example was formal is where you giving an interview, informal is where you are representing yourself in front of a club, and quick could be an elevator speech or your business proposal speech. So that is how you introduce yourself. When you introduce someone else, it could be of 3-4 types. Where you introduce someone as a speaker, it has to be really short. When you are presenting an award, it could be long. And when you are introducing or talking about someone in the marriage or funeral, it has to be very beautifully chosen choice of words. So all these kinds of setup we talked about today. Introducing yourself, all what we need to do is also be authentic, genuine. That's top most priority. That is the core of talking, not just in introduction but anywhere. You can fake your style, you can fake your energy, you can fake your excitement, but not your words. There you have to be authentic. Again, weave it like a story, because when you weave it like a story, it is not only gentle to your audience's ears, but also helps you remember the stories. Have a perfect conclusion and start, because start hooks up your audience, and then they decide, okay, I want to listen to him. End makes your audience remember you. That is also very important. Practice enough. Try to have voice modulation. Try to have enough skin in the game, which means put efforts. I want to be rich and famous, but I don't want to work for it. Will not work. If you want to be an amazing speaker, go out there, take every opportunity to speak in public. Only then you will succeed. To sum it up all, practice, practice, practice. I would look forward to more questions and queries on my DMs, which is on Instagram and Facebook. Khushal is 𝐒𝐿, LALWANI, and I'll be looking forward to your questions and queries and solving them tomorrow. Same place, same time. Looking forward to learn and grow together. Thank you so much.